Okay, so let's start. Good morning, Professor, and my teammates. Myself, Roshni Kalra, student of economics. On the behalf of my whole group, I would like to thank the professor for this great opportunity. I would like to introduce the professor with my teammates, starting with Akash, Sukhdeep, Amandeep, and Rakshit. Today, we are going to discuss about the analysis of Ukraine before and after the war. We will be including the basic introduction, current scenario, role of internationally monetary funds, that is IMF, after war scenario recommendations, conclusion, and appendix which is attached in the PPT. To start with the introduction, in the wake of Russia's devastating invasion and ongoing conflict in Ukraine, the International Monetary Fund's IMF has taken a pivotal step to support the nation's economic stability and long-term recovery. With the backdrop of 30% of contraction in GDP, that is gross domestic product, widespread civilian casualties and significant displacement of population, Ukraine's economic landscape has faced unpredictable challenges. To address this crisis, on 31st March 2023, the IMF Executive Board approved a financial arrangement totaling of $15.6 billion over four period through 2027. Next slide, please. This extended fund facility, that is EFF, is a part of a broader international financial packaging of $115 billion designed to bolster Ukraine resilience during the ongoing conflict and pave the way for comprehensive reforms once the conflict subsides. This article delves into the significance of IMF program, which represents the final stage of multifaceted strategy developed in collaboration with Ukraine authorities to support the nation recovery and reconstruction efforts. I would like to hand over to Sukhdeep.
Hello everyone, my name is Sukhdeep. My part is about economic scenario of this macroeconomic analysis. In this analysis, we have noticed that after Russia's war in 2022, the real GDP of country decreased. It was about 3% before the war, and now it was minus 30%. This drop in GDP is due to the drop in aggregate supply due to the effect of the war. Look at the graph. In 2021, AD0 and AS1 provide the initial estimates of aggregate demand and supply with a real GDP of Y1, that is $200 billion, and a price index of P1, that is 9.4%. Uh, this drop in AS curve has led to rise the price level from 9.4% to 20%. Now, if we compare the unemployment rate, then it was 24% in the year of 2022. Thus, thus the stagnation scenario was observed due to the war. So I hand over the next slide to Aman.
Hello everyone. My name is Amandeep Kaur and I am here to represent the IMF concept. In this concept, please move to next slide. So in this concept, as we know, after the war, the Ukraine will need some financial support just to recover its economic growth. So for that, IMF suggested some solution for it, such as they recommended the economic policies and promote the infrastructure development to cope during the post-war period. So not only this, IMF also provides some foreign investor to support its growth, and as well as they also suggested some fiscal and monetary policies just to recover its economic growth and the progress of it. They not only this, the IMF has approved the funding of $15.6 billion over the 4 year through to 2027. So this is all about the IMF, which they suggested to recover the economy of the Ukraine. Now I pass the next concept to the another group member. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So after IMF suggestions of implementing new fiscal and monetary policy for the growth of economy to the Ukraine, we have focused mainly on the expansionary fiscal policy. So our suggestion will be that if government implement expansionary fiscal policy, it will have to expand the expenditure for the infrastructure development of the country. And when a country increases the autonomous expenditure, we can see that there are chances of the growth of real GDP, which can be seen in the graph. So initially, AE2 was the autonomous expenditure in 2022, and after the war, when economy has to be growth at that time, the expansionary policy will lead to the increase in the autonomous expenditure to A3. And this increase in autonomous expenditure will increase the real GDP from Y2 to Y3. But this increase in the autonomous expenditure, basically, if we observe on the budget balance graph, it goes into the downward side. And this downward shift indicates that there is a drop in the debt, which means that the debt of the country will increase, and this type of budget is called as deficit budget. But if the GDP increases even after the increase in the debt, then it is beneficial for the country, and the real or the actual debt will be lesser than the projected debt, which will be D3 compared to D3 dash, which is less than the projected debt. Now I request Rakshit to carry on.
Thank you, Akash. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rakshit, and in the aftermath of this devastating war, Ukraine stands on the verge of recovery, and crucial decisions lie ahead for Ukraine. One strategy is the implementation of expansionary fiscal policy, marked by an increase in autonomous expenditure. The shift is reflected in the movement from the AD1, AD0 to AD1 on the aggregate demand curve. The immediate outcomes are clear with this graph that real GDP surges, unemployment dwindles, a glimmer of hope for a brighter future emerges. However, this is a common phrase when an economy begins to heal from stagflation. The burning question is whether the benefits of this economic growth can outpace the short-term rise in prices or not. In simpler terms, can Ukraine achieve a sustainable and robust recovery that ultimately can heal inflationary pressures? This challenge demands a careful approach, one that Ukraine and its policymakers must undertake with foresight. In these uncertain times, Ukraine's ability to chart a course towards stability and prosperity will be tested. But history has shown that strategic planning can conquer even the most formidable challenges. Now to the conclusion. In the aftermath of Russia's devastation invasion and ongoing conflict in Ukraine, we have witnessed an economic crisis of unprecedented magnitude. Ukraine's real GDP fell down by 30%, and stagflation increased in price increase and unemployment. However, there is a glimmer of hope in form of IMF support, International Monetary Fund support. The IMF has approved a crucial financial arrangement of $15.6 billion over 4 years through 2027. During the conflict and pave a way for comprehensive reforms in the post-conflict era. Yet financial aids alone cannot guarantee Ukraine's recovery. The IMF recommendation highlights the importance of foreign investment, fiscal and monetary policies, and expansionary fiscal measures to stimulate growth and rebuild infrastructure. Balancing all these strategies is essential as a shift in the aggregate demand curve can enhance GDP and reduce unemployment. Ukraine faces challenges, but with strategic planning and international support, it can overcome any conflict or any and can have a brighter future. Thank you.
So this is the appendix that we used for data collection, and this is the data from IMF official website, and that's all for our topic. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.